We came up with the idea about 2.5 years ago. It's been a long journey, but we're very excited to bring artisan bread again to downtown Utica. This city has a history of great bakeries. I think every city should have great bakeries. When we travel, that's the first thing we look for in the morning is the closest bakery, and now Utica has one and it's downtown. So we're very excited to offer another amenity to downtown Utica. We'll be bringing about 12 to 15 jobs in immediately, hopefully more in the future. Our plan is to start off as strictly retail, but eventually we want to get into some wholesale accounts as well.
The whole idea became a reality because of our need for bread at the Tailor and the Cook, and just locally looking around town, noticing that there's a gap in the market for good quality European-style retail breads. The style of bread that Steve and the bakers are going to be producing is of a European style. So this is bread that is, meant to be enjoyed by itself, but it's also meant to be a complement to a nice meal. Whatever kind of bread they produce, we can showcase at the Tailor and the Cook. And then, people can have a taste of it when they're eating there, and they can come over here and purchase it when the bakery's open.
We're going to have a mix. Some stuff will be things that people are really familiar with. Everybody knows what a baguette is. But we're definitely going to put out some things that nobody's seen in this area before, and hopefully they catch on. I went to school for culinary arts. I was sous chef at the Tailor and the Cook prior to coming here, and I've just always done all the baking and pastry work at every restaurant I've worked at. I think they're going to experience a higher quality of bread than anybody else is offering in the city. We're using slow fermentation, developing a lot of flavor, high quality flours. We're working with a company called Farmer Ground Flour that's a mill out of Ithaca that mills pretty much 100% New York State flour delivered straight to us. New York used to be a really, really big flour production. Before it got moved out west to New York, the Ithaca area was where the majority of the flour in the United States came from, and farmers are slowly starting to convert back to it, getting rid of all the corn and growing wheat again. And the more they grow a better quality of wheat, and it makes a better bread. And we're just taking our time. A lot of the the pan breads and stuff that you see in the stores, for business purposes, they make it as fast as possible, and you lose a lot of flavor when you do that. We're slowing things down and developing as much flavor as we can. The freshest aspect would probably be a baguette. They're small, they have a high crust to crumb ratio, they're designed to be eaten relatively quickly. I would say within 6 hours of baking time. You could sit on it longer, but it's definitely not going to be as good as it was when it first came out of the oven. We'll be baking early in the morning so that we have fresh baguettes at about 7 a.m. when we open, and then we'll probably do an afternoon bake so that we'll have fresh baguettes and stuff like that in the evening. So that way we're not sitting on a bunch of bread for 12 hours that we're open, and the people coming in at 7 o'clock in the evening are getting the bread that we baked at 7 in the morning. We'll develop a bit of a schedule so people will know what we're producing from day to day.
The future of Bag Square, if you look, we have a coffee shop, we have a nice restaurant, we have a nice bar, now we have a bakery. These are all things that you can build a neighborhood around. The third floor, we plan to build a loft apartment. On the second story, we have the Thinkubator, which is MVCC, small business endeavor. And first floor is a bakery, so it's a true mixed-use development right in downtown. It's kind of low-hanging fruit. The city is just ripe for the picking. Part of our funding for the bakery was an ERP loan, which is a low-interest loan. There was a small gap that we needed for our financing, and that loan filled the gap.
In 2005, the city adopted Real Property Tax Law 485A, which is a 12-year partial exemption for the conversion of non-residential buildings, commercial buildings, to a residential and commercial use. It's a 12-year partial exemption from taxes, and it takes the first 8 years of the exemption and keeps your assessment at the prior assessment. For example, if you have a building which is assessed for $50,000 and put $200,000 into it, for the first 8 years of your 485A exemption, the taxes would be based upon the $50,000 rather than the $200,000.
One of the ways in which we are incentivizing development in our downtowns is through what we call the New Downtown Housing Initiative, in which we will incentivize owners and developers who choose to rehabilitate one of our downtown structures, pay down the interest on those loans taken out by a developer who chooses to comply with the new downtown initiative, which is to rehabilitate and to provide housing in our downtown.
Mixed use is the way to go. You got to have a little bit of everything because this is a neighborhood. We're looking to build a neighborhood. We're not looking to be completely self-serving. You know, if mixed use brings people in the day and the night, then we'll have businesses to complement them at all times. If you're going to hang your hat in Bag Square and you're going to put a sign out and open up a business, I think you have to believe in Utica. You know, I mean, there's a momentum that is happening right now that is pretty unstoppable. Yeah, I believe in Utica. I believe the next 10 years are as bright as any 10-year period has ever been in Utica.